Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something truly fascinating. We're going to decode an ancient, highly dramatic, and honestly surprisingly relevant text. It's called the Mahāyāna Trisamvara Sutra. Now, I know that sounds like some super high-minded, untouchable philosophy, right? But stick with me, because as you'll see, it very quickly pivots. It turns into this chilling prophecy about the collapse of massive institutions, and ultimately it becomes a gritty, highly practical survival guide for everyday life. Just to ground our journey right off the bat, we're looking at the actual historical text straight from the Chinese Buddhist electronic text archive. This was translated centuries ago by the great master Dharmakṣema. And look, this isn't just some dry, dusty philosophical treatise. No way. It's a profound narrative. It has completely survived the test of time, and it speaks directly to us about the very real, very messy challenges of keeping your moral compass intact when the world around you is in decline. So here's our map of the Sutra's prophecy for today. We'll start up high at the Vulture Peak assembly, dig into the wisdom of emptiness, and then brace ourselves for the prophecy of the decline. After that, we'll examine the corrupted monastic order, shift over to the lay bodhisattva path, and finally, wrap up with protecting the true Dharma. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the Vulture Peak assembly. Our story kicks off in a setting that is just unimaginable in scale and beauty. The text literally opens on the majestic Vulture Peak. Picture this lush, mountainous utopia that is just vibrating with perfect harmony. And it brilliantly illustrates the absolute sheer power of the Buddhist presence. I mean, you don't just have 8,000 top-tier monks, bodhisattvas and celestial dragons hanging out. You've got apex predators and their natural prey. We're talking lions and deer, tigers and elephants, just chilling out together, totally at peace. It's a wildly surreal image. Thanks to the Buddha's power, they are entirely stripped of their natural instincts for greed and anger. They're coexisting like mothers and children. Right at the center of this massive, awe-inspiring assembly sits the Buddha himself. He's resting on the great lotus throne. Now, this is an astronomical cosmic seat with a brilliant blue lapis lazuli stem. And to really wrap your head around the mind-bending scale here, this throne is physically held aloft by 10 billion Asura kings. Literally, 10 billion. And the whole time, dragons are raining down sweet perfumes over the entire crowd. It is the ultimate vision of cosmic order and absolute purity. Okay, moving to section 2, the wisdom of emptiness, which is all about total non-attachment. You know, the Buddha didn't just summon this massive crowd to flex his cosmic authority. He actually brought them together to impart the ultimate wisdom of emptiness. Now, a quick refresher. Emptiness isn't about like a bleak, dark void or nothingness. It's the profound realization that everything, your ego, your core identity, your favorite possessions, lacks any inherent independent existence. They're fluid. It's all like a dream or an illusion. True wisdom, as the sutra argues, requires a total, uncompromising non-attachment to the self. But wow, here is where the sutra drops a massive philosophical twist. The Buddha warns us that attaching to the concept of the self is a trap, right? Well, he goes even further. Quote, if there is an attachment to the idea of nirvana, the Tathagata declares this to be a wrong view. Think about that for a second. Even fiercely clinging to the ultimate goal of enlightenment itself, like making this huge ego-driven mission out of reaching nirvana, is a dangerous trap. You have to let go of absolutely everything, the whole shebang. Section 3. Prophecy of the Decline. Welcome to the Dharma-ending age. So, right as the audience is grasping this really high-minded philosophy of non-attachment, the Buddha pivots and delivers a seriously chilling prophecy. He lays out a timeline spanning 3 distinct eras. We start in the current pure era of true Dhamma, where enlightenment is actually accessible. Then we slip into the era of semblance Dharma, where you start seeing the foundation cracking. And finally, we plunge headfirst into the latter days, the dreaded Dharma-ending age. This is a predicted future where the true teachings basically fade out, humanity's greed surges, and institutional corruption just runs absolutely rampant. This brings us to Section 4, the corrupted monastic order. The fall of an institution. So, what does this prophesied corruption actually look like on the ground? Well, the sutra certainly doesn't pull its punches. It explicitly, bluntly contrasts the original pure monks, the ones who lived simple, ascetic lives, meditating in peace with very few desires, against the predicted corrupted monks. In the latter days, the text says monks will completely abandon meditation. Instead, they're going to fight constantly, engage in bitter, petty politics, chase women, and totally exploit their religious status just to hoard massive amounts of material wealth. The text gets incredibly specific here, and frankly, a little bizarre about these behaviors. It says these corrupt monks will treat the monastery like a bustling strip mall. They'll practice medicine for profit, set up side hustles acting as matchmakers, and even hoard luxury clothes and fine bowls. And worse, they will actively slander anyone who tries to teach that true doctrine of emptiness we just talked about. The imagery here is striking, almost cinematic. It compares these panicked, profit-driven monks running away from true teachings to jackals fleeing into a dark graveyard. They essentially become scavengers of the faith, totally consumed by their own egos. Which leads us to Section 5, the Lay Bodhisattva Path, a grounded guide to survival. With the big monastic institutions prophesied to fail so spectacularly, you might be thinking, well, is all hope lost? Not at all. Actually, the text dramatically shifts its focus right here to the lay bodhisattva, basically everyday people. It's essentially the ultimate DIY guide for spiritual survival. When the major institutions collapse, you don't need a monastery. Step 1, maintain the ethical precepts in your everyday life. Step 2, guide your parents and family toward wisdom. Step 3, keep the faith alive by lighting lamps at stupas and supporting the few pure monks left. And Step 4, cultivate real compassion without ever needing to leave your home. But to actually hold the line against all this worldly corruption, a lay bodhisattva has to adhere to some really strict prohibitions. And these rules, they are intense. No visiting brothels. The text heavily condemns human trafficking, strictly forbidding the buying or selling of men or women. They absolutely must not sell or distribute poisons. They've got to avoid living near slaughterhouses. And above all, no selfishly hoarding wealth. It's an incredibly practical, ethical framework. It's literally designed for real-world survival in a society that is rapidly losing its moral compass. And finally, Section 6, protecting the true Dharma. This is the ultimate message. Here is the absolute crucial, empowering takeaway from all of this. The survival of wisdom, it does not depend on unshakable institutions. It depends on everyday individuals holding on to morality, practicing generosity, and keeping the truth of emptiness alive. When the giant monasteries and established religious orders inevitably crumble under the sheer weight of human ego, the universe doesn't rely on them anymore. It relies on the grounded, ethical, everyday person. It relies on you, the lay bodhisattva, to step up and protect the true Dharma. The Mahāyāna Trisamvara Sutra leaves us with a pretty stark reality. Systemic corruption might be inevitable, but so is the opportunity for real individual heroism. So I leave you to consider this. When the world around you loses its way, and the institutions you trusted start to falter, will you have the wisdom, the generosity, and the courage to hold the light? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this ancient survival guide sparked some curiosity about the power you hold in your everyday life.